So, my darling, for those listening and watching, wherever you all may be in the world, yeah, I would love for you to share just a little bit of who you are and anything that is on your heart today.
Beautiful. Yeah, so my name is Rachael. I'm from Ireland, and I live here off-grid in a clay hut in a community. And I came here to study in A Luz, and to walk the path of birth, and of women's work and women's magic. So that's kind of the core of my passions. I'm also a mother. I'm a mama bear. I've got a little boy called Noah who is a year and 8 months. God, he's a year and 8 months. That's crazy. 9 months. He's a year and 9 months. And he's just the light of my life. He's the cutest thing ever. And just constantly giving me so much wisdom and so many reflections of life and so much growth and so much, So, and I'm also a stepmother of 2 gorgeous little girls. And that is also so much learning and so much beauty, and so much transformation. So much getting to know myself on a whole other level. I'm a builder. I'm building my own house with the mud of the earth. Going out and digging it out of the ground, getting the sand, mixing it all together, stamping it into the ground, and then piling it on top of each other and creating my own home.
Wow.
And that is also just such a beautiful journey, and one that I'm like constantly reminded in this being in the present moment and not kind of like wanting to instantly have this massive house and have everything perfect, but actually enjoy the process. And to go from living in a tiny little caravan with lots of kids, and just not very many facilities, to having cold drinks and a fridge and a freezer and a house. I'm also really, really passionate about sacred sex and reclaiming pleasure and resensitizing our bodies and learning to be in our senses and be senseful, because I feel like that's something that we've come so far from in the world at the moment. Feeling the wind on our skin and like actually tasting things and just using that kind of sensual embodiment as a practice, an everyday practice and tool to love myself and to be as present as I possibly can and be the best version of myself in this lovely world that we find ourselves in at this beautiful, crazy time.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Yes. So inspiring. And, it's really just so beautiful to actually get to witness you, because I met you for the first time in the temple of A Luz when you're pregnant. And, just seeing you being such a goddess. I remember it so vividly, the image, in the temple. And you're there with your beautiful bump, and I was like, who is this woman? Honestly. And then, of course, I must say, cherry on top, Irish. I was like, you come to the south of Spain to find an Irish sister. And I remember I had actually brought hawthorn as a offering, and from our land, from Eru. And it was just really poignant to, these threads as well of just being, no matter actually where you find yourself in the world, there is always home, and home, it actually is in a lot of different places. And then to start school, and when I had just arrived, do you remember when I had just, you were so early postpartum, it was your first time coming out to the river. And it was exactly when I was arriving here. I'm just remembering that. And then you were like, I was like, oh my God. He's like, you did it. Yeah, I was like, you did it. Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Oh my
Oh my
God,
God, I
wow.
completely forgot about that.
Same.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
never forget that hawthorn that you brought.
Mm.
Like that's my link to Ireland, and
Mm.
that's my magic is the hawthorn. And growing up, it was always like my dad used to always tell me, you know, the fairies, they're in the hawthorn, and just hearing all these stories and always feeling so connected to it, and almost feeling a little bit intimidated by it, but having so much respect for the hawthorn. And being here, it's definitely the tree that I miss most. I took a tiny little small tree from Ireland, in the plane wrapped up, so it's slowly growing, but it's not such a fan of this hot,
Yeah.
dry weather. But yeah, that connection to home, and yeah, seeing an Irish sister in that moment of like such vulnerability, that was really touching. Yeah, I remember that feeling.
Oh, Noah was so
He was
tiny.
so small. He was so small. Yeah, he's so big now.
And would you like to share a little bit about your postpartum or pregnancy, conception, birth, any of the juicy things that we love?
Oh yes. Yeah, so I had an absolutely gorgeous pregnancy and gorgeous birth, and in itself a gorgeous postpartum as well. Postpartum was definitely more challenging, and more confronting. But yeah, I'll start at the beginning. So the conception. His name is Bob. He is just such a gorgeous soul. I remember like the first time that we properly locked eyes, it was such a, you know, when you just see someone, you know, you've known them before. And this very strong feeling of home and of like being able to be soft. Like that's something that I just love so much about him. He has such a holding energy. And I can just completely like melt around him, and I can really be in my feminine. Yeah, he is one of the most passionate people that I've ever met, the most determined people I've ever met. Anything he puts his mind to, he will do it. Like, it's incredible. He's just got this drive and this fire to create. Yeah.
To create life.
Create life. Oh, yeah. Juicy life. Yeah, it was funny because when I conceived, I always thought that when I'd conceive, I would know that I'd conceived. And I remember as well quite a few people around here being like, of course you'd know. And the way that I actually knew was because I just intuitively stopped smoking fags. Like, they just became the most disgusting thing to me. And so then I was like, after 2 days of not smoking, I was like, hold on a second. What's going on here? And coffee as well. Like, I was always mad for coffee. You know, having my fag and coffee. Like, my fag, cup of coffee, that was the way to go. And then suddenly these like kind of like rituals of mine became kind of disgusting. And I was like, what's going on? So I took a pregnancy test, and it was in the car park of the community. So Bob was actually in England when I found out.
Yeah.
And I was with Johanna.
Yeah.
And I was so chill. I was just like, took the test, put it on the ground. It was in the grass. I sort of like was just getting dressed again, like chatting about the day. And then she was just like, Rachel? Rachel? I was like, yeah, well, you know, we could do this, la, 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 la. And she was like, you might want to have a look at that test. And I was just like, and just the feeling like coursing through my whole being was so strong. Wow. And in that moment of knowing it, I knew it. And I could feel it then, you know. I guess we're quite conditioned to receive information about ourselves from the outside rather than actually intuitively feeling it. Because when I saw that confirmation, I could feel it in my body instantly. So I think I already felt it, but it was more like I didn't know how to believe myself or trust myself in that feeling. Yeah, and I was so happy. I've always wanted to be a mom. It's been like, I mean, always, like, as a child, I'd just pretend to be pregnant. I'd stand in front of the mirror and like press my belly out and like, yeah, just, and of course, like being so into birth and all of these rites of passages and being here, and just, yeah, it just felt like such a blessing. And I already knew him, because when we were in the temple, we had Lourdes, and we were doing like a diving into the womb journey, and it was really intense. I'd never had an experience like that, where I was just lying down and I just saw this little boy, crystal clear image, and it's literally him in about 6 months, I'd say, like completely clear as day. So I instantly knew it was him. And when I went back and looked in my journal, that image came the same day as the day after me and Bob made love for the first time. So I knew straight away who it was. And I knew I was always like this little boy, and like it was really, I knew that. Like, yeah.
That is just so amazing, and how beautiful.
Yeah.
It just goes to literally show how divine life is, and how, you know, like Noah knew he was choosing both of you, and he wanted to share that with you, and also you were in a place to be really in tune with yourself, your visions, what you receive, and the discernment of what and when you receive things, and all of that. And that is actually big work, to be in a place of being open to listen, to inquire, to be curious, and at the same time let life you know. And it's like, oh, I'm like full shivers. I'm like, yeah, it's so magic, you know.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of universe letting you know that you're on the right path, isn't it? It's like this, in the moments that we can forget and we can get in our head, or we can like come out of our body, or we can go into doubt or mistrust or fear. It's kind of this like snap back. It's like, hey, actually remember, like it is magic, there is magic, and like you're a divine being. And yeah, I don't know if there's already a plan or what there is, but like just this reminder of like what I would call mystery or goddess, like coming in and being like, hey, actually don't forget, and like, yeah, the receptivity
and remember,
exactly, and remember, yeah, and just the openness to receive,
just like you were open to receive Noah.
He was so ready to come. Yeah, so where was I? Ah, yes, find out. Pregnancy was just amazing. I love being pregnant. It was such a full experience to experience yourself so alive and so fertile and so full of life. And it was complete pure magic. I mean, like feeling life grow and move inside of you, and then remembering like where life comes from and where life starts, and just the whole magic and mystery, and like what is that, you know, like we make love and we create life. What?
That is pure love.
That's pure
you
love.
Know, and you're like,
pure love. It's pure magic, like and that's why I love birth so much as well, because it's just such a, like when you actually think about it, it's such a mystery, and it's such a mind-blowing phenomenon that is where we come from. We come from love and pleasure. Yeah, and I had some morning sickness in the pregnancy, but not so much. It was really just this experience of carrying life, and then like the first time seeing my belly move. I remember I was reading Harry Potter, got really into Harry Potter in the end of my pregnancy because it was so hot here in the summer. So I was just laid out on the couch reading all the time, and then just seeing the book shake on my belly and like this life moving inside, you know. It was really, really magical. And yeah, I spent a lot of time in my pregnancy connecting to Noah and doing a lot of breath work and preparation for him coming in. I would just imagine him in my womb and imagine him in the water, and just imagine him having such a good time in there. And yeah.
And did you ever come up again, like did fears come up, and how did you process that in general in your pregnancy?
I think fear wise, I was so blessed to have been in the temple beforehand, and to have been so conditioned beautifully to believe and trust in birth. But I definitely had a lot of doubt, or of wondering of the path of like becoming a mother. Like, what does it actually mean to become a mother? Like, how can I be the best mother that I can possibly be? And also being in a patchwork family, there was a lot to that, of like finding my place as a mother, as a stepmother, and bringing new life into that space. So that in itself was quite challenging at times. And there was a lot of medicine in that as well, in the pregnancy. Finding, how do I actually want to give birth? How, where, and with who do I want to give birth?
Yes.
And knowing, of course, like from the temple and from our learnings as birth keepers, this like, I can give birth wherever I want, with whoever I want, whenever I want. And yeah, for me, it felt really important to be on the land, and to be at home, to be outside for some of it, and to just be left alone, so that I could really, really be in my own essence, and to not sort of have my energy, because you're so open when you're giving birth, to not have my energy sort of like diluted or filtered or impacted by other people. And I had the most blissful, ecstatic, orgasmic birth. And I didn't even really think I would have an orgasmic birth necessarily, but it hit me by a nice surprise. Oh, it was good. It was really good.
And so, who did you invite into your birth space?
In my birth space, there was Bob, my partner, and Alev, our dear friend. And
so shout out to Alev for bringing us in with the mics. Alev, we love you. Thank you.
Snazzing it up. She was incredible. She just was so there and so present, but so trusting in birth. And that was also why I asked her to be there. I knew her trust in birth.
And in you.
And in me.
Yeah.
And in everyone that was there.
Yeah.
And then when Noah was being born, I called the girls in, and so they were there for the birth as well. And then my mum came for the birth of placenta. So it was full house in the end. But I started out for most of it by myself. I was just walking outside and sounding. Like, the moment it began, I started sounding straight away.
And what time of day was?
It started about 10:30 in the evening. And I was sat in bed, and I was just trying to relax, and I was trying to do some yoga nidra and just really get into the body. And then it was within, I would say, 10-15 minutes that I was like, I cannot be sitting down. I cannot be lying down. This is
not the time for
relaxing. And I was quick up and out of the bed. And then from then on, I was just walking around the place moving like a cow.
Yes.
Yeah, there was no chance. There was no chance of sitting down. I tried as well. I was like, because I wanted to save my energy. And sort of like, conserve it. I'd been to quite a long birth beforehand. But there was absolutely no chance. And I was out under the stars, just sounding and walking forwards and backwards, and just being completely in my own energy, like totally in my own essence. And it wasn't even like I just got taken by the energy of birth. It was like a spiraling and a swirling into just allowing it to happen, basically. And I don't really know how that time passed, but it was morning. It was morning, and Bob came out because he thought that there was cats fighting. That was me.
I love that.
He was like, "What is going on out here?" And I was just there like, "It's me." Yeah. Not fucking cats. Thank you very
much. Just the divine feminine.
Just the divine feminine.
At your doorstep.
Yeah. And so when it got bright, I had this really strong feeling of it being too public. I was like, anyone could come, it's daytime. So that was when I really felt like I needed to go inside. So I went into the roundhouse, and it was really cozy in there. And Bob and Nick started to get the water heated outside. And I was just walking around and leaning against the wall, sounding, and I tried to sing. I remember trying to sing, and Bob was playing guitar. Oh, that was it. Yeah, he was playing guitar, and he kept just playing guitar, and I was like, "Sing, sing to me! I need you to sing. Why are you just playing guitar?" He was like, "Okay, I'll sing."
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, that you knew what you needed. You know, it's a really big thing within women. I'm not saying that it doesn't come from men, but I can just speak like even for myself, you know, this aspect of, I needed to really come into this part of me that is like, I can feel I need something, and also, okay, now, you know, feeling, okay, maybe something is a bit juggling itself inside, and then, okay, identifying this is what I need, and then asking whoever it is, like, are you available for this? Can you do this? And in a birth space, you know, it is so important, and it's just like so amazing that you did that, you know, because this is your time. This is your time of birthing, of really like unfurling, allowing your fullness to come in and to take up space, and not like, just really to go in, you know. You don't know where you're going. That's the thing. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what is going to be on the other, you know, the other side of the birth. But like right now, in those moments, you know, things can change very quickly, and you really just like fully went for it. And I just really honor you for that, because it's really, it's not nothing. It really is something, especially the way that, you know, being Irish, the way that we also grow up. And it's actually really, it's really big within our ancestry, you know. So I really see you in that.
Yeah, thank you so much for seeing that. It's a massive thing. It's such a big thing, and it's something that I think I feel like I've consciously done a lot of work on, and I'm still at the beginning of the journey with it. Like, even actually knowing what I want, you know, it's not, for me, it's not even just the verbalizing of it, but it's actually the being able to listen to myself enough to actually even know what is it that I actually want right now, or am I in a mode of pleasing the other, or of playing something to be accepted. And I think that was also why for me it was so important to be really mindful of who I invited into my birth space and where I gave birth, because I think, you know, I wouldn't be able to be that sort of like brave in voicing my needs with anyone, but with people that I know well, I'm there. So I think that's also, yeah, a big piece of why for me it was so important to birth where I birthed and with who I birthed. It's a massive, massive thing, isn't it? This asking for what we need and asking for help and allowing ourselves to be seen vulnerable.
It's huge. It's a really, really massive piece. And somehow I think it is like, just, you know, I haven't given birth yet, but just from hearing mothers, it's like one of the really big pieces of the birth. I let myself just ask for, okay, I'm really, now can you guys leave this space, actually? I don't want you guys there. And maybe that also is including the partner and the dad, you know, or your mother or his mother or whatever the constellation is. But it's like in those moments, like the labor is just, as you said, like it is this like spiral from what I experienced from having witnessed. But it's really, it is just like a huge piece. And yeah, freaking go on, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a vortex, I think, birth. It's like, yeah, and I feel like it's so, you know, when you were saying this thing of like, oh my God, I did it. Like, I was so confronted with myself, and it was kind of this like, you can choose whether you completely surrender and you completely let birth, or, you know, come into the mind. And I think, like, you know, my birth was, it was ecstatic and it was pleasureful and it was beautiful. And it was also like me showing completely vulnerable parts of myself. You know, I was projectile vomiting left, right, and center. Couldn't keep anything down. Like, say something and then suddenly just spewing stuff out and like pooing in the pool and all of these things that for me, you know, beforehand I was kind of working with it, like, how can I completely soften, how can I completely melt and open and allow myself to open, and not be in the mind about these things. So it is this full showing of yourself in complete vulnerability. It's the humanness.
You know, like, because we have spoken about that before, it's like in, let's just say, life, there's so many pressures from freaking every angle. And, you know, then it leads to like numbing, disassociation, plateau of distorted reality, basically, you know, the actually allowing ourselves to be human and mess up and not get things right and be like, you know, whatever it is. And to, you know, there's all these like things that sometimes aren't even like ours, but like, you know, the pooing, the vomiting, the like not looking clean and like together, or like whatever, like just like stories and like imprints maybe from like also our own births, like who knows, but like we don't even need to know, but it's just like they're there. And but it's like ultimately this is life, you know, birth is life, death is life. And you know, it's all these things that like I guess it's just like really an opportunity for such huge healing within like ourselves and yourself, and then in your relationship and your partnership. Like this is literally all of me, you know. And then once you allow yourself, and you fully went there, then, you know, then you come into postpartum, and there's a huge discovery there of who you are as a mother, who you both are as parents now, and the change in dynamics. But it's like, yeah, finding these parts of you then when you are a new mother, and that every cell of in you is totally altered for life, you know, that you will never be Rachel.
Chills.
before birth again.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like even when it comes down to breastfeeding, you know, it's like one day you have your breasts, then it's like you have pregnancy, and they change with that, and then you go to literally feeding your child and sustaining
Mm-hmm.
Noah,
Mm-hmm.
and you still are now, you know, which is just so magical to just see you like the other day, like just walking out like absolute fierce woman with like her nearly 2-year-old boy, like wild
Hanging off
Noah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um and it's just like, this is what my cells know, this is
Mm.
what I want to see, this
Mm.
is what I admire, this is
Mm.
what I see as truth,
Mm-hmm.
as actually.
Mm.
And I say this truly without like shaming. You know, I'm very aware that every family, every mother,
Mm.
they have their own journey when it comes to birth and breastfeeding
Mm.
and all of that. So I do want
Mm-hmm.
to just like name
Mm.
that. um and also acknowledge that the um the ways that the certain systems have been in place, and how that has stripped us from the most natural
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is to bring life into this world and feed our babies and sleep with our babies, that this has somehow become disgusting, something that should not be done, something that there's a limit to as well. Like, okay, it's
Mm.
okay for a few months, and then it
Mm-hmm.
becomes like
Mm-hmm.
that's weird, or whatever the freaking things are.
Mm.
And like, it really yeah, like it pains me. It really feels so wrong, like hearing my dear sisters talk to me, and you know, just hearing what you as mothers come up against, and the fathers, I am so certain they do too, you know, because they are the protectors, they are protecting, you know, the family unit, the family ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yeah, in a way, I don't want to get like stuck on the how did we get here and whatever. What I really want, and maybe this is like, who knows, part of these chats that I want to have, is just like, so that those listening mothers and fathers, like, and because they know, like, you know, inside of you what is right for your family, you know. But maybe right now where you live, and your village and your town and your city does not have the same, and does not hold with reverence the same views, you know, and that's fucking hard,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so maybe there's people that are listening, and maybe they're about to have a child, maybe they would like to one day, or choosing not to, whatever. But it's just like really being like, yeah, these are just so natural, like it's in our blood, it is literally our blood. From our breasts is what makes the milk instantaneously, as soon as a child's saliva touches your nipple, like, honestly insane. So yeah, like, let's, you know, and the thing is like, you know, it's beautiful that we know this, and I have not always known this also. um and that we live in a place that really does encourage and welcome, and just like celebrate, actually, that's really the word, you know. Yeah, new life, and breastfeeding. And I think it's really yeah, just so important for us to be these little sparkles of light to remind others. Maybe it's this little permission slip of like, yeah, I do want I know my whole family is saying to get a cot and to buy these things or to buy the bottles just in case or the whatever. But inside, this mama and this father know that they don't want that. And just to know that wherever they are in the world, that it is available to them. And yes, it may require energy and prayers. Like I'm such a like, you know, pray, you know, be with the earth, be with, you know, whoever you pray to, but just really tuning in like a moment to, you know, it's kind of this similar thread of like, what do I need? And it's like, okay, yeah, I like, please life, show me someone who can support me on this journey, because sometimes, you know, we just need this one person who fully has our back and is like, I fully trust you, like you got this, like whatever choices you make for your family, you know, and also that are resourced themselves or maybe experienced or that know others who have. And so, yeah, so that this web that, you know, in a way it's kind of hilarious, this like reclamation or something of motherhood, of fatherhood, of parenting, of breastfeeding, of birth, of it all to yeah, to really come back to our individual truth, really, and fully getting what we need from those around us. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
That was like a whole, I was like,
that was goddess speaking right through you. Yeah, and I feel like there's so much in what you said, but what I feel like it kind of comes down to is like, actually, I feel like in the world we're always searching for knowing. And actually the only thing that we really do know is that we're born and we die. We're born and we die. And like the fact that we've taken those rites of passages and kind of put them into these boxes of things that should be hidden and shameful and unseen and uncelebrated. And yeah, that for me is, it's a tragic thing. And I think it also comes back so much to this thing of like actually listening to yourself, because however you want to mother, that's your choice. And whatever way that you mother, if that feels good in your soul and that feels good in your bones, that's the way that you're meant to mother. But I feel like we're so conditioned to seek for information on the outside. You know, we are like brought up to be sheep and to follow whoever and to look for the wisdom from the doctors, the midwives, from everyone else but you. And it's like, hold on a second, actually, because you're the only one that's going to birth this baby, and you're the only one that truly knows what your child needs. But we've forgotten how to do that, you know. And it's not just that we've forgotten, but I think we are so conditioned to do that. I think the whole world is sort of, it's constructed in a way that makes you forget that capacity and that ability. And I think here we're so blessed to be in a place where we're surrounded by community, we're surrounded by wisdom, and we're constantly encouraged to listen to our own needs. You know, we're encouraged to listen to our own needs, and we have a lot of information. You know, and I think it's like that with all of these things of, you know, even like sleep training or that kind of thing of like, how do you actually feel? You know, is this something that you really want to do deep down inside yourself, or are you doing this because a doctor told you that this is the way that you should do it? Because of course,
or others around
or
you,
anyone else,
that's
your
the
family.
yeah, there can be a lot of like social pressures of like, oh, in my, you know, my group of women, like this is what it's always been done. And or yeah,
absolutely, or family members.
Yes,
I feel like
because that's a really shaming, big one.
Yeah.
It's crazy actually to be receiving opinions about what you should do with your family and your body and your energy, essentially.
Totally. Your existence.
It's actually bananas, and it's totally different than, okay, I'm in this place and I would really look like, I'm coming to you, I need advice, do you have any like inputs, this is what's going on for me. Totally different story when a mother and a father are coming to others and asking just for, or to be heard, or whatever it is, but asking for stories, basically stories around, let's just say, breastfeeding. Then particular people coming with, sadly, they're also their own fears, you know, and it's sad because they cannot see it, or they're not willing to see actually the damage that it is causing, that they have come with, you know. And it's okay to have fears, that's not the issue, but it's like, I personally do not and will not enter, for example, into a birth space if I'm holding fears. And fears will come up, and they have, and it is beautiful, and I bring them to light. If I hold onto it, okay, I'm fearing transfer, this has been going on a while, I am not going to shame myself for feeling that, because it's there. So what can I do? I can, okay, like I can just, oh no, I'm just going to ignore that. And then maybe, because we know the power of fear is like, then that's the story that ends up being created. Or I have a choice, because we always have a choice.
Always have a choice.
To be like, okay, right, I see you, and okay, yeah, I can hold myself, like, yeah, you know, it's okay, darling, like, yeah, you're really scared of that happening, but right now we're here. And maybe, like, I've done it more so with myself, like that's what the practice, or that's what was needed, you know. But I also shared with others when we were in the birth space with sisters who hadn't been at a birth before. And I shared with them, you know, like, if at any stage fear comes up, it is not a problem, but please acknowledge it within yourselves, or come to me and we can talk about it. And so, because like in the birth space, energy, it's like one, like, so the mother is like the most open energetically, her portal is like opening so much that, so that life can literally come through her. Like, what? Every time it's still going to be like, just like, what? Like, wow. And it's with that, it's just like, okay, I've lost my train of thought again. It's okay to have fear, because also I feel that, like, you know, in the birth world, let's just say, it's like, fear is awful and it's like, but that is denying our existence, basically, because no matter how we live, where we live, what is going on, it is human to have fear. And it's like, it's totally okay. And it's like, okay, so how can we hold ourselves and hold those who are experiencing fear without, yeah, just love, with love, in love, you know, like, and that's okay. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, yeah, maybe there's a fear about becoming a mother, and whatever, you know, anything is like welcome, and because it's the time for it to come up, you know, for the mother and also everyone around, because it's such a otherworldly, oxytocin filled and fueled, hopefully, space, you know. Or that's the way that our bodies are designed to open, is in oxytocin.
Absolutely, yeah. And I also feel like this fear thing, it can be also translated through motherhood, you know. It's like, and it's so much about, I think, self-responsibility of like, okay, you've got a fear arising, and like, how do you want to be with that? Because I feel like when you try to push something down, it becomes so much bigger. And I think in motherhood and in postpartum, there's so many mindy things that can come up. And it's such a full on, intense thing to go from being yourself, a maiden, your body, your choices, your just you, to being completely in service of another being. And there's so much that can come up in that. And then being like, okay, how do I want to be with this? How am I choosing to practice some kind of self love and some form of like, yeah, some kind of space where you can actually look at those things that come up rather than pushing them down, and continuing to go. And it's like, that was even a big piece for me of like, it's something that I'm so passionate about self-love and like being with fear and, you know, being with all of the many parts of myself. But I completely forgot it in postpartum. You know, it was like, it just, everything became being mother. And like, I just want to like, yeah, just kind of put that out there, that like self-love can exist in motherhood. You know, it's like, and I think when we have that kind of self-love as birth keepers going into a birth or as mothers, we're so much more able to be with our fears and so much sort of like more able to access the wisdom in them, because I feel like they're messengers. They're like, hey, you're actually not listening to this thing that's actually going on, or this feeling that you're actually having. Yeah, so to be able to feel into that and to celebrate them as well, to not shame the fear, you know, because it's always going to exist. I don't think we're never going to be fearless. Can you imagine?
Because fear, it's all of these things that actually show up within our bodies. They're all guiding. They're all like little like ding. Oh yeah, like whether it's a physical pain or sensation or whatever is coming up, it's like, it's actually beautiful. And like, I think that's also another part of like, you know, the way like society is right now. And it's like there's been so much taken away from valuing the beauty of intuitive knowing, being in our bodies. The body is sharing something, whatever it may be, that is either like, yes, I want you to know, you know, something. So it can be even about like menstruation pain, you know. And it's like, okay, the body, there is nothing wrong in its okay, your body is signaling, sending you a message. Okay, we're in maybe deficiency somewhere. Is there somewhere, what, okay, are you having, you know, whatever. And it brings you know, hopefully, you know, let's see. But like, yeah, girls and women on this journey inwards into the womb and finding, okay, yeah, balance. And that's been a huge and kind of still is a journey for myself. I was on the contraceptive pill for 10 years, which is like on and off, but like that's a really long time. And I've stopped now like nearly 6 years ago. But like there is still you know, yeah, there. And I would also like just never ever go back on any type of hormonal adjusting situation, because I love my body so much. And I have come to, you know, from a place of disregard, like really dreading receiving my bleeds, because at a time they were really painful. When I and my mother, I remember we went to a doctor's, and the only option that they provided was to go on the contraceptive pill.
That's exactly what
And
happened to me.
so that's what I did at 16 years young. And even if you're on a contraception that you still receive a bleed, it's not hormonally what your body is designed to do. Something has been switched, or I don't know what the right words are, but there's, and so it's been so beautiful in the last 6 years to be like, okay, this is like naturally, yeah, what my body is like and my rhythms. A year ago is when I got a call, because today is Friday, that yeah, to get all my mother rang me. I was just on the riverbed driving. She asked me, yeah, to stop the car, that all immediate family to come back to Ireland because my dad was on his last days. And so for me this morning to wake up and like I was just crying in gratitude and emotion all at once, that somehow today is the day that is the first chat show, the first sharings of this, and also that a year ago I had to really quickly pack up my little bag. I was like, okay, what am I going to wear to my dad's funeral? You know, I had to leave my dog Kawa here and like my whole caravan, like everything here, to fully go and like tend to his death. And it was so beautiful. And it's just like the whole year of being here, like the birth preparation was my death preparation. And so to literally the timing of the school, like our last day of classes had been on the Wednesday and this was on the Friday, I get called, and then I don't get to say goodbye to all my sisters, the people who live here, who had become such close friends. I really, yeah, it was a sharp ending closing. I remember I was like praying on the ground and I was just like, please, like, let him know that he can go whenever he wants, but that I would really love to be there, you know. But I fully trust and know that he's on his own path and on his own journey to stillness and to death. And, you know, and it's kind of like was my worst nightmare, like needing to then literally go, you know, and get a plane and be like, okay, I need to, you know, I prayed that I'd be able to write a eulogy. Because I wanted, when I was there for however long it was going to be able to be like fully there. And in Ireland, you know, funerals happen within like 2-3 days, so it's kind of like, that is like mental to me in its own thing. I was able somehow on this Ryanair flight home, I just took out my journal and I was just like crying and crying and just like writing. It just like all just like came through me, and I got to actually share it with him. And he was already on his journey, you know, to death. So, but here he was having moments of consciousness and alertness. But even, you know, the preciousness of that, getting to share that with his still living body first, and then get to share it with those who made it to the funeral. It was really something. Yeah, the realness of what had been unfolding and rediscovering, like being totally boom, like who am I? Like who am I without my father? Like I would not have even fathomed the impact that it had and still has on me in the most like heart cracking, opening, breaking experience. And yet it has given me this initiation has given me like such strength. And I know that he would be so proud of me today. And I know that he is, and like, yeah, like, because I spoke to him so much, like, over the years about all of my dreams, and like, I told him about this, and he was always like, do it, like, go for it, and like, how can you do it like now, and I was always like, just, I gotta trust, it has to be the right timing. Like, but he was always like, come on, like, he could see the potential and the zing for life that I have, and like, he knew somewhere within him what actually I would bring to life, and I always knew I would. Like, there's these things, like, I've always known the right time, and today really is the right time. And so thank you so much for being with me here in this new adventure of mine, that like, ultimately, none of us knew where today was going to go. It's just, I invited you over to have the chats, and without anything prescript or whatever those things are called, just really just being ourselves. And I really respect you, so thank you so much for giving yourself to this space, and to me, and to those, wherever this may go. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I just want to say that I so deeply honor how you are with death. Like, seeing you in this journey has been so inspiring for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I've not experienced death close to me in the way that you have, and I just can't even begin to imagine how it feels. Like, I actually can't. But seeing how you are with it it's so inspiring. And I feel like, when it comes my time that I experience death close to me, I really will be drawing upon the wisdom that you've been sharing, and just how you've been with it in the way that we speak of being with birth. You've been with it in seeing it as a rite of passage, and of letting it come over you, and letting it course through you. And yeah, I'm really in awe, actually, of how you are with it. I'm deeply in awe of how you've been with the death of your father. It's such a huge thing, and yeah, I'm actually a little bit flabbergasted with how you are. I don't know how you do it. And I think you sharing this also now is, it's such an inspiration, and it's so important in the world. Birth and death, I feel that they are kind of the same thing in some ways, and it's the same portal that opens, and the way that you've tended to yourself and your opening of that portal is really incredible. And I think so many people can draw upon that wisdom in their own experiences of death. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yeah, for really like sharing your story, part of your story, but a really, really beautiful part of your story. And yeah, being just the absolute reminder, and the rootedness that you hold in mothering.
We did it! Number 1. Woo! Today's the day.
Okay, sláinte.
Achieving dreams.
Yes.
Slán
Making
se.
dreams reality.
Ooh.